Hello, and welcome back to today's American Flyer Trains, where we're about ready to wrap up the rebuild and even a railhead test on 21922-1, the dummy A unit on the 21922 PA unit pair. Once I removed the truck and collector assembly and even removed the chassis from the body, the only thing that uniquely I did on these is to wash them. The only thing I removed on these truck and collector assemblies was the leaf spring that provides the tension there, the brass leaf spring that provides the tension for the arm and coupler assembly. Polished those, first washed them and then polished them, even using some Brasso. Washed both of these units, polished them lightly, dried them thoroughly, came back and put, where appropriate, a light coat of oil, especially up here on the leaf spring, and then a light coat of CRC 226. Same thing on the chassis and its truck assemblies. It was thoroughly washed, and I'm going to show you the nomenclature of the bell and the hammer in just a moment. They were washed thoroughly. I primarily concentrated on removing surface dirt and any kind of carbon buildup on the wheel so that I wasn't trying to ground off surface material that could be taken off with a brush and dishwasher soap with a more expensive rotary tool process. All that was completed, simply washed them. Now since then I polished all four of the contact wheels. That was done with a rotary tool, and then I did a little bit of light oiling on the axles. There wasn't much to do on the bell assembly. I'll show you that in just a moment. And then I went ahead and applied a light coat of CRC 226 on the interior as we close that up, and I'll also do it on the exterior. Now we'll take a look at the bell assembly, and I've not seen this particular bell in American Flyer before. I thought before I opened it up it's probably going to be a bell similar to the flashing lights, the warning bell and flashing light assembly, but it's not. This is a much larger dome on this bell, maybe the same material. It consists of these parts, the hammer, of course, right there, and its spring bracket assembly, which is here. This is a spring, and there you can actually see the bracket right there, and then the lever right here that moves up and down, the tension spring, which is right here, very delicate. This one fell out when I disassembled it, so when I reassemble it, I'm going to make sure to handle this particular truck very carefully. And all that happens is that as this axle rotates, there's a little device on the axle, and it looks like they used a gear axle because it has that section in the middle that's designed to hold the gear. A small device that has two pins on it, you might say, and I lubricated them with a little grease oil to cut down on the friction. It simply moves this back and forth. It pushes it up. The spring retracts it, and there's where you get your ringing mechanism. Of course, it's louder than that because I've got the hammer and its spring rotated about 45 degrees away from the bell. That's all it does. It just goes up and down, and the spring returns it. Now, I did, of course, some interior lubrication. I want to make sure this is working pretty frictionless, but that's it. So if we turn it back, and then I'll start over here, it will be rolling backwards since it's a dummy unit. You can see how it works. So I'm going to get it reassembled and see what the difference is in speeds as to what speed causes the bell to ring, and then what speeds cause it to stop. But that is pretty much it. It's simply going to be dropping the chassis back in, putting the truck and collector assemblies back on each of the trucks, and that's it. This particular piece is finished. So let's move on now to a video of the railhead test. Now the rebuild of 21922-1, the dummy A unit, is finished. Now this was an excellent specimen of this train. This is one of those where it doesn't look abused, it looks barely used. And you'll notice at the bottom it's cleaned up beautifully. Completely rebuilt. Now we're going to go to the railhead and see how it performs as a dummy A unit with this little automatic manual bell. The Comet Alco 466 is going to be the power A unit, and we're going to pull the 21922-1 dummy A unit Missouri Pacific with the automatic manual bell. This is about 70 miles an hour setting on an 18B transformer to quieten the bell, and then we'll bring it in the station. Thanks again for watching Dave's American Flyer Trains. So long, everyone.